right, good afternoon. Welcome back, everybody, to our Microsoft Excel spreadsheet, okay, our Google Sheet, okay. Let's continue with, I don't know, this is our week 4, right? And last time, 2 weeks ago, uh, let's pick it up where we left off from week 3, okay. I believe that this is, right, this is where we left off from last time, right? Because I remember as I do this one, I make a screenshot. You know, last time I'm grateful to have sort of like sometimes like couple days, almost like 3 days. So that's how I be able to get the writing done. I'm not sure that I be able to do any more writings, this week. But anyway, I try. Anyway, so this is what we left off from week 3. Okay, so I'm going to continue. I will be discussing probably more of Microsoft Excel's built-in functions. Okay, and I feel like as far as like the template, the design that we try to replicate, we try to copy all the feature. I think we pretty much get all the stuff right. Like I think we pretty much get all of this stuff. The last feature, which is sort of like the hardest feature, the tricky part is the calendar. So we got that week 3. And now I feel like as I continue to talk more about the Microsoft Excel built-in function, I want to, you know what, this is, I just feel like can be a great opportunity for us to sort of like apply this thing to our life, our personal life. It's not going to be a great productivity tool until it's really, really productivity tool for us personally. That is actually help us to do things more efficiently and get things done. So until it helps us that way, then it's going to be a great productivity tools. So I'm thinking about maybe we can, as we discuss more about built-in function, let's try to create sort of like a little, customize to our personal preferences to see exactly which, which help us. Okay, and I was thinking about, let's say that we have a person, we have the column we created, additional column, say aside 2, which is like the employee's name, right? So let's say that this week, our goal is try to see if we assign right now, the color, the default color for every task is going to be purple, and then remember that the green color is basically just tell us exactly the work is being completed. Let's say if it is 100%, 75%, so that's going to cover, like 3/4 of the task. And then if it is 100%, then it's going to cover that with all green. So green color basically indicate that, the task, how much of the task been completed so far. Okay, let's say this one completed only 25%, and our default color for all kind of tasks so far are purples. And I just want to see if we be able, let's say that we have a groups of I don't know, maybe 5-10 employees. It's kind of like a 10-person team, and then we basically assign different tasks for each person, and it would be easier for us to see which person working on which task by associated with specific color, like color coded. Okay, it's kind of like color coded. So let's say that you have we're gonna make it up some name. Okay, let's say Edward Emma, right? It's kind of like that. Okay, and then I try to use the built-in the Microsoft built-in function VLOOKUP directly inside the formula, the custom formulas for the conditional formatting, but for some reason I unable to get it working. I look it up online and I take a look at the example and they say it works, but for some reason I unable to get it work directly in the formulas. So you know what? I'm gonna come up with sort of like a workaround method. I'm going to create another column, additional column, and then that column we're going to store the color coded for each person. Let's say that we're gonna create another column here to the left, okay, and we just call it color, okay, and this way we will assign. Let's say that Edward is probably like red color and maybe I don't know blue, green, yellow, maybe cyan, manito. I don't know. Is that how you say it? Manito color. The name of the color. English I cannot help. And this one maybe is purple. Okay. No, we already got our purple, so which is a default color already. Maybe orange, okay? All right, so let's say that we're gonna, each time when a person is selected, then you're gonna choose their corresponding color. And then this bar right here will be formatted with that color. Okay, let's make this one back to like 20%. 10%. All right. Okay. Okay, so now we're gonna use. Let's create another sheet. Okay. It's called setting. Let's call this one setting. Okay. Let's make a copy of this one. In case that it's always good practice for us to make a copy and back it up on a regular basis. Let's say if you working on some new feature and that thing did not work, but at least you probably have the latest version that is stable, that is working. So if you back it up on a regular basis, like once a day, the most work that you're gonna lose is gonna be just one day of work. Okay, so let's just make a copy of this one right here. This is gonna be week 3. We are developing, okay. This is gonna be our base right now, so we know that this is work. So you're not gonna lose, you're gonna lose as little work as often as you make a backup. Okay, so is that how you say it? Okay, no. Okay, so this is what it is. So now I want to create a table on a different sheet, okay, that actually have the list of all the employees' name and then their associated corresponding color. Okay, so let's create it. This one here. Okay. Maybe, you know what? Photo and maybe just, I don't know, maybe Paul. Okay. Make all of this one is like the name of the person. Okay, and we call this one, I don't know, maybe just the employee table, employee color. Okay, and then this color, as we said, right? And then maybe Paul gets, I don't know, maybe what's other color that we have not used? Red, blue, green, yellow, cyan, magneto, orange, and maybe we're gonna use some maybe pink or something. Not purple. Black, gray. What's other color we can use? Maybe just black. Or just light green or something. Just light green or purple. Okay. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be our table, okay, that we're going to use to look it up. Whenever we see this employee right here, Edward, we know the color, yes, it's going to be a red color, and then that's going to be a color that we formatted the task assigned to that person. So now each task assigned to each employee, and each employee has their corresponding color, okay? And we're going to use the function, the built-in function called VLOOKUP. What the function does is basically it's going to take the name of the person, the employee's name, which is in column 1, and then you can specify the corresponding value of the table that you need to return. In this case, let's say whatever you see Edward, then you're going to return the corresponding color-coded, which is in the B column, okay? So now, let's store this table, okay? And name range is Google Sheets way of letting you define a table. So you can refer to the table's names later on, without referencing these things right here. You just call it by name, okay? So you go to data, name range, and then you just created A2 to B9, right? A2 to B9. Okay, so that's going to be our range. That's going to be our table. And we just call it, this is the name of the table that we call it. We say table, employee, color, right? Done? Okay, remember that it's actually, we can store all the information in another separate sheet, okay? And then this is going to be our main developing worksheet, okay? So now we clear these things up. And then we're going to make this one a drop-down list, okay? We know how to do, how to implement a drop-down list from 2 weeks ago, week 2, I believe. And we just go ahead and right? We go to data validation, add rule, and then you set it from the range, okay? Drop down from the range and you get it from the setting. Okay, then that's going to be, this is Edward, and you probably assign a color. Let's say you make this one color for Edward, and maybe this one here, Saga, maybe this, I don't know, maybe this. right? And then we just so let's go back to our sheet to see whether or not, okay, now you get this one right here, right? But you know what, I want to change the style of the drop-down list. I get so used to this style. Right? And then you just copy this whole thing down. Oh, you know what? You make it a B7. Okay. Right. Right. So each person have a different color. Okay. Now what you're gonna do is this. You basically going to format the task with their color. Okay. Let's say that Emma. And the way that you do it is that you're going to use the function, the VLOOKUP function, and that table is actually in our setting, kind of like our setting configuration. And then when the person's name, you look up the person's name, and then you look it up their correspondence color. So that's going to be red right here, okay, blue, all this stuff. So the function that we're going to use is a VLOOKUP function. So that we're going to use this one. It's a VLOOKUP function. Whenever you use the formulas, you begin with an equal sign. VLOOKUP function, and then the parameters, the argument you're going to pass. You're going to pass on the name of the employee, which is in B7, right? In column B. Starting from the first row, which is 7, right? And then remember that we store our employee color in the table called table employee table, right? In the table employee color, and then you want to return the value that's stored in the second column, which is the color column, right? So that's going to be 2, and then false, okay? This one and yeah, because you know what, this one right here is a blank, so we just sort of like put this one if error. Okay, then you're gonna copy that down. Okay, so whenever that you choose the person's name, their correspondent, the function will return their correspondent color. Is that right? Saga G Vo M. Let me see. Saga G Vo M. That's correct. And then we continue with that. Then this is going to be Paul and right. Do that. copy all the way down, right? We go ahead and delete this one, okay? But you got an idea. Just copy the formulas down. Okay, now, just to do this one, okay. Now, we get the column, this color column that returns the color coded, okay? So now, these things right here, we have to format it with that particular color. So the way that we do it is this. So far, we actually have our default color, which is purple. And we're gonna put one more condition, okay? So go ahead and go back to our format, conditional formatting. And then this is what we have so far. Remember that our default color is purple for all kind of tasks. But now we want to distinguish between different person assigned to different tasks. And then this color right here is basically just indicate how much of the work of the task has been completed. Is that 50%, 75%, so on and so forth, okay? Now we just go ahead and modify this condition a little bit. Right now, this is AB28. Okay, let's copy this formula and we modify this formula a little bit. Okay. Let's do this one. And now we just have to put another condition. This condition right here is basically just compare the date with the start date and the end date. If that cell, if the date of that cell is actually greater than the start date and less than the end date, then you highlight that cell, okay? It's kind of like you telling exactly where the duration of the task, okay? Now we just want to add another condition. Let's say that if the if the color coded is R, then you're gonna say this one right here, we put another condition. So far, the end function, all of this function we evaluated to either true or false, okay? And in order for the end function to be true, all of the condition, all of the criterion must be true, okay? So we're gonna color the task red, okay? Blue. If it is green, if it is, if it is, let's say that if it is, this is green. Hold on, you know what? Let me try to fix this one to make sure that it matches with our table. First of all, let's do that first. Sorry. Let's make sure that our color coded match with this color. Okay. Okay, so Emma is blue. Emma is blue. Okay. Just find a nice blue. Right. Emma is blue. Right. And then Edward is red. Find a nice red. You know, this one is nice red. I just want to make sure that I get the exact color. So that's going to be our code, the color code. This is going to be red, right? Okay, and then Saga going to be, what is it? Saga going to be green. Make sure you get a nice green. Saga green. Okay. Okay, just for example. And then Frodo. I don't know, maybe this one right here. Yeah, maybe it's a little lighter. Photo. Right. Okay. Just for a person, for example. Okay. Folk. Saga green. Book. What is it? Book. Manita. Okay. And then cyan. Cyan. Where is C? Okay. This for now. That's good for now, right? That's good for now. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is that we're going to color the task, the correct color assigned to that person. So now if Emma is selected, then the color is going to be blue, right? So what we're going to do is that we go back to the conditional formatting and okay, and then we copy this formula here, and then we basically modify a little bit. We add in another condition, right, which is this one here, right, and then we just add another condition. Let's say the column C, which is where we get our color coded, is so that's going to be C, but you want to lock it up the column, so that's going to be a $size C, but then you want to let row relative. So basically, just see what is the first row, that's 7, okay? Equal to, let's say it's blue, okay? So that's going to be our condition. We're creating another row. The range going to be this one here. This is going to be our range. This is basically just a text editor that I use to keep notes. Okay, so this is going to be our range S7 to AP28. Okay, so we're going to copy the entire range. We're going to create it, each row for each color. Okay, so we're going to do for like 4 of them, for example. Then this is going to be S7 to AP28. That's going to be our range. And then we're going to put our formula, which is one right here. And then the formula is, what formula is that? This is going to be our new formula with the condition, right? Let's try to make it neat. Create and delete all the space. Okay, hopefully it's worked, right? This one blue, right? Then you choose the exact blue color that you use. Blue, this is our color, it's color code for blue, right? We just want to make sure that our color look consistently. Okay, and then we try to customize using the hex code for the color. Okay. So whenever, ooh, how come Emma selected, this one is supposed to be working, hold on. We have to move it up. Okay, there you go. Remember that the conditional formatting or the rules in Google Sheet is get executed from top to bottom. So the rule higher in the list get precedence. So as soon as they find the first condition that is true, then they're going to stop going down the list. Okay, so they will stop at the very first condition that is true. Okay, so that's why it's all the conditional formatting rule that you created for a different person for different tasks that they assign to that person to get their specific corresponding color. Then you have to sort of like move it above the purple, because our purple is kind of like default. We only test for 2 conditions. It's actually greater than the start date and less than the end date. Okay, but then because we want to color the task based on the person being assigned to that task, then we have to add another condition, which is the color code. Okay, so now we create another S7, I believe AP28, right? Maybe 28 or 29, I forgot. 28, and then let's say we go to this custom format, and the color is going to be Edward. Let's say Edward, and Edward, this one right here, you just change it to red, right? This one is red. Okay, and then we want to use the red color for Edward, which is this color right here. That is the hexadecimal number for the red color. Okay, so we're going to use that hex color code for that. Oh no, sorry. That's for the text. I want for the color. Okay. Why is that? No, I want this one. Okay. Then you say okay. Right, and then you move this one above the purple color. See that? When you choose Edward, it's going to be red. Let's say that 50% of the work done. Okay? Same thing. 29. Okay, so that's one. Let's do one more. We want to do Saga. This one Saga is green, right? Saga is green, and then you want to make sure you get the right green. This is the green for Saga. Okay, so you get that. And then let's do one more color. What color should we do? Maybe this one right here, Vogue, right? I like this color. Let's do this one for that. And that's gonna be Vogue. Okay. Oh, what happened? That's gonna be this color right here. Right? And Vogue is for which? For Vogue. Okay. It's gonna be AP 29. Vogue is M, right? Let's say that this one right here is Vogue. Hold on. Right here. Vogue. Saga. Vogue. Okay, does it work? Okay, so it's good, right? You see that? Now you'll be able to, whatever you're gonna do that for as many employees that you have. And the way you do it, you basically just set it up a table, and then that will contain the list of all the employees, the person's name, the employee's name, and their correspondence color. Okay, that way, whenever you choose the person's name, this one right here, Edward is going to be red. This is Edward is going to be red, right? Saga going to be Emma going to be blue, right? So they will actually get their color here. And then Frodo, we did not do this one. Maybe Vogue is going to be Manita. Okay, that's how you're going to get that. And then let's say that, what I want to, instead of like, and then you want to make sure that this somehow, highlighted, this whole row right here, this section right here. When Edward is selected, when the person's name is selected, the whole row is kind of like the entire row across. It's going to show the same color. Like Edward, okay, so I want to color this one. Let's say, let's say that, right? And I do a formatting, conditional formatting, and if C, add another rule, right? If C column, you're gonna lock that column, so you're gonna put a dollar sign in front of it. It's column C, and then you're gonna let the row number relative. So that's gonna be, what is our first row? 7, right? 7. And then you're gonna ask if C7 equal to R, then you're gonna highlight, format this section right here. It's red. Okay. Okay, and then you're gonna do that for blue. If it is blue, then you're gonna format that the color blue. We're gonna use this hex color code. Okay. Right. If it is, create another rule for, I don't know, Vogue. Is that how you say that word, Vogue? You know, sometimes English, certain word I know how to say it. Sometimes certain day. It's not just only certain word, certain day. You can say anything. And that's true, not just only Vietnamese, English too. Certain day you can speak anything, you say anything. Certain day, I cannot say anything at all, even in Vietnamese. Okay, so now, no, equal to equal to C7 M, right? Then you're gonna get the hex code for this one. Okay. We just want to make sure that our color look exactly the same consistently across the worksheet. That's why we have to be exact using the hex color code. Okay, now we have that. See that? See this? Looks pretty good, right? See that? So whatever you choose, so far we did 3 color. You choose Emma, it's all blue. You choose Edward, it's going to be all red, right? This one right here, red. Let's say that Edward probably get 5%, right? Maybe 15%, maybe 25%. Okay, that's good. Okay, this one is in progress. Yep, that's how you get it. You know. Let's see what else we need to. So today we go over the use of the built-in function called VLOOKUP. VLOOKUp is basically, it's just like you have a table, and then you're gonna look it up. Let's say in our setting worksheet configuration, you have the table that contain of all the person's name and their corresponding color. So basically, this is a very simple table. It has only two columns, the name and then the color, right? And then the row, you can build as many rows, as many employees' name Okay, so when you call the VLOOKUP function, you pass on the name of the person. You give the table's name, where the table is what the table is called. We name our table is table employee underscore color, and then you ask them to return the value stored in the second column, okay, which is the color column, okay. That's why when you take a look at this function right here, you see that you call the VLOOKUP, you pass on BA, which is the name of the employees, and then you pass the name of the table. We already declare, we already define, our table is stored in a separate worksheet, right? We give that a name. It's a table employee color. That is the name for the table. So later on, you don't have to reference, you just, let's say that you add row and columns onto that worksheet. So the table will get moved, will get shifted, and you don't have to worry about all that shift. You just reference it by using its name, okay? And then number 2, it basically is just the value stored in the second column, okay? And this is how you call the function. When you call the function, make sure that you take a look at the function signature in terms of how many arguments and what type of argument it is required and what kind of value does it return, okay? And you can look it up, the Microsoft Excel function reference. Microsoft Excel viewing function reference. I believe that I found a website that has all the reference on Microsoft for all the function. Here, alphabetical. I believe this is the link that I found last time, and when I wrote the sort of like step by step with a screenshot. And then you say VLOOKUP, right? Search for VLOOKUP. See this one right here. If you want to know exactly what the function does and how do you use the function, look it up. Say lookup and reference. Looks in the first column of any array and moves across the row to return the value of a cell. Okay? Lookup and reference. Look in the first column of any array and moves across the row to return the value of that cell. In our particular case, we're interested in the color, so that's why it's stored in the second column, okay? So this is going to be your reference. Whatever that you need to know, what functions, whatever you need to do, whatever you want to do, you're looking for the kind of function that will help you get the result that you want. Okay, chances are there always a function has already been written and there for you to use. You don't have to recreate it from scratch or write anything from scratch. That's the whole purpose of the built-in function. It has tons of function, and think about the kind of work and how big of the developer community that have put their work into creating this function. And you know what? Microsoft Excel function is available exactly the same thing available in Google Sheet. It's the same thing, except it helps people that has a little or no budget like me and you get a chance to get into coding. Isn't that wonderful? It's an amazing idea, right? So that's why I feel I'm so grateful. Whenever I'm tired, I feel like, hey, take a look at all this work that has been done by a worldwide community of developers and all their work and all the time that they actually written all this stuff, and take a look at it. We'll be able to access to it. It's been given to us freely. So I'm grateful for that. Whenever I feel tired and depressed, I feel like, let's color conditional format in Microsoft Excel, right? Excited. Okay? So that's how we do it, okay? And let's say that we probably get like 75% done, right? So see, that's now. And now every person probably get their okay, second. Okay. You know what else we need to do? So far we introduced you the built-in function. We I cover how do you define a name for the table that is stored in a separate worksheet, okay, that we can call and reference later. And then now let's convert these things to a table. You know why we do it? We're interested in converting this to a table because there are a lot of stuff has already implemented for us for the table. Let's say that later on you put let's say that this day is I don't know, maybe probably like October or something, right? October 29, 20, 25, I think, right? 5, and then October. This is October 26, right? Let's say that when you put a lot of tasks that actually have a different start date and end date, and then you want to sort them, you want to rank them in the alphabetical order or in the earliest time to the oldest time, the largest to the smallest. We are unable to do it as of now because this one, so we want to sort it, but we want to make use of that sorting capability. It's already implemented in the table. So all we need to do, we just, Google make it very easy that you can actually convert this one into a table, this area right here. And remember, this is our main determinant section. So you don't have to worry about breaking your code because everything, all this part right here, everything else is determined by this section here, right? So this is our main determinant area. So just convert it into a table, right? And then you can sort it. Let's say that you want to convert these things right here into a table, right? Data? No. Format? Convert to table. There you go, right? Now it's converted to table. And you take a look at it. Now it's October 25th, 2025. It's actually the earlier than November 19. So if you sort them, from the earliest to from the oldest earliest to the most current one, this one should be on the top, right? So try to see whether or not we'll be able to do it. So these things right here, right? You know what? Instead of like November, let's just put November 1, okay? Okay, now sorted. So these things, okay, if the table has been implemented correctly by Google Sheet, then these things right here should be, when it's sorted, it should be right here on the top, right? Let's see, and then this thing right here should be on the top. Sort column A to Z. There you go. See that? Just put this one to, we did not sort of like, this should be orange, right? As a matter of fact, let's do it. You know what? We have not implemented this color orange. So, is that orange? It's capital O. Then orange, we're going to choose this one here. Yep, this is good orange, right? This one, yeah. There you go. And then, you know what? Let's try to C7 to F29. That's going to be equal to C7 equal O. Then you give it an orange, right? Oh no, what? That's going to be an orange, right? I don't know. Maybe this orange. I don't know. I don't know the hex code for the color for this one. Okay. Yep. Okay. Okay. That's how you get it. You can change this one to maybe 100%. Yep. Okay. This one to verb. Yeah, saga. Okay. That's going to be the end of today. And remember that you can customize this one. Maybe you can change this one to, like, I don't know, if you're in school, you know, the person's name, you know, it could be like a course subject. Could be like, I don't know, maybe you're going to change this one to marketing, political science, math, right? Chemistry, physics, PE or something. I don't know. No, no, and this one maybe, I don't know, maybe animation, right? Change that. And then this one will actually get, you know, marketing, math, you know, all that kind of stuff. Okay? So that's gonna be that's gonna be your homework. That's gonna be your assignment for this week. Try to customize that to your personal preferences. As we do our project, we replicate certain design. You know, it's kind of like result-oriented, feature-driven approach. And hopefully you come up with stuff, and then you might customize it a little bit here and there to that suit your personal need, right? So that's what our purpose is, okay? Okay? Go at word is red, right? And yep, just go ahead and do it. Play around with the conditional formatting. See exactly how it works, okay? So I hope that, and then if you want, you can actually create it, I don't know, a different column, maybe note right here. Yeah. No, maybe Discord note, right? No. You know, try to come up with something that's useful and helpful for you. Okay? But now you'll be able to see that if I want to, let's say, if I want to choose somebody, Edward is all red, right? Then Emma is going to be all white. It's going to be color coded. Okay? And then if you want to expand your table, the best way for you to copy it, you basically just sort of like, if you want to create it more row, just sort of like get this one and then copy down. Okay, that's where you're going to get all the formula being copied correctly. Okay. Yep. Right. Okay. That's going to be the end of today. This week's spreadsheet. I hope that you get a chance to sort of like tap into the built-in function of Excel and learn how to name a table, a variable name. Okay, namespace is a Google's way of letting you name the tables so that you can call them easily by the name. Okay, thank you and have a wonderful day. And I will be looking forward to seeing you next time, 2 weeks from today.